Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in this weird, wild, wacky world, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness Dublin. Yay! This evening's scene will take place as Christina Spanos, who has now been given, bequeathed, forcibly rendered an apprentice, decides that she requires a greater and deeper understanding of the world itself before she can adequately train someone else. May the Lord have mercy on her soul. So, Christina, how do you prepare to commune with your innermost self?
Well, since her avatar is of Gaia, she is going to go surround herself in nature. She has Archimedes with her as well. Like, I need
Good, I just
help.
put up his picture.
She's gonna, I could use your help. I have probably the stupidest apprentice on the face of the world, and
Oh, yes. Well,
I don't
no,
want to die.
I believe that there are some stupider, but then again, we would have to go to Outer Zanzibar and have them shot in the left temple by
Okay,
some kind
well,
of
at least the
archfiend.
stupidest one in Ireland, and yeah, he's already managed to almost get himself killed, and I would like to not die. So, oh, I hope that he straightens himself out. However, I could use more understanding and knowledge. She nods.
Archimedes is kind of as you walk into one of the parks in Dublin, probably St.
Mhm.
Stephen's Green or the Phoenix Park. He's sat up on your shoulder, and he appears to be contemplating. He's looking off into the distance, blinking his large owl eyes. His plumage is pretty. Plumage. For the record, Evan
Have you
really likes
got
the word plumage.
plumage? Have you got any advice for me?
He will say, ultimately, it is a matter of trusting in yourself, because only through yourself does the power flow. It's not about necessarily contemplating you need it for this reason or that reason. It is about understanding if you yourself are ready. Hmm.
I believe so. I've been staying at the same level for a while. I didn't want to move on until I felt I was ready, and I believe I am.
Hmm. Well, only you can answer that question truthfully. And if that is what you believe, then you are. Hmm. We shall merely see if your inner self agrees.
Let's hope she does.
Now, I require scritches.
Oh yeah, she'll give him scritches. Like gets in deep too. Those deep
Yeah.
under the feather scritches.
They are the best time scritches. So, you will make your way to a grove of trees that have been well cultivated. For the record, we'll say you go to the Phoenix Park. You will even notice a deer, for there are a herd of them that occupy the park, with its ears pricked high as you approach, as it appears to be eating the grass. Happy deer.
She takes the time to appreciate the deer.
The deer will eventually kind of he will not necessarily tire of you being there, but he will scamper away towards his own deer business because clearly deers have business.
Of course they do. And she could ask it what it's doing, but yeah, it's all right. She doesn't really need to know. Hello, dear. What are you doing?
Deer things. I'm doing deer things.
Doing dear things. So she'll
Archim-
sit.
Archimedes will hop off your shoulder and will fly up and will kind of settle himself in the eaves of a tree, looking down at you.
And after
Remember,
he does that,
you just have to be yourself. Answer yourself as you would answer any other question, truthfully. You should be fine.
she nods. Right. Piece of cake. But she knows better than to just to assume that this is going to be simple. She One thing that she has learned basically her entire life that nothing about magic or any of this stuff is simple. There's always some hidden underlying meanings that you have to examine. So, she's going to try and view this from as many angles as possible while still remaining true to herself and her purpose. So, she's going to sit and meditate, listening to the sounds of the park around her, trying to tune out as many of the city noises as possible and honing in on the noises of nature that it's themselves.
You will notice as you do so, the ground underneath you starts to quiver and shake as if it is being rent and torn apart by a great earthquake or the hand of a mighty being tearing it up. From beneath the tree in front of you, you see the tree start to raise up on a mound, a hill that is pushing its way clear and free from the earth itself beneath it, until eventually this appears in front of you.
Oh, she
The eyes are
def-
still closed, but its head is pointed down to look at you, and it will say, "I wonder, what is it that you seek?"
I seek a higher understanding of myself and my magic. What
Right in front of you, from the dirt, a rose will rise and bloom on a single stalk of green. It is the most beautiful flower you have ever seen. Its petals are white and dappled with crimson, almost as if someone had cut their own heart open and drained their heart's blood upon it.
Jeez.
And it will say, "What is the value of the rose?"
She thinks about that for a moment. In her mind, all life is precious. The rose is just as valuable as the person standing next to it. The value of the rose. Some people would say its value is in its beauty, but it dies shortly after being cut. The dead rose could be just as beautiful, but I think it gives more value being alive. It can spread its seeds, make more roses like it.
It will contemplate for a moment and it says, "But what is the value of the lack of the rose?" As you see that, the rose will rot away in front of you until just the green stalk remains.
It's allowed to die out in nature. It then returns to the earth, fertilizing the ground for more roses after it. Continues the cycle.
The tree being contemplates for a moment before it says, "It also creates hope that the rose will bloom again."
She nods.
People require that hope because if they lack beauty, if they lack the majesty of summer in the winter, they must know that spring will come and breathe new life so that the glories of summer may return. The cycle is more than simply life and death, for people require it in order to know that the cold will be banished by the sun, or indeed that the chill will come and resonate once more with the world. It is important. It is a balance.
She takes that in. She will nod. Thank you.
It will say, show me the flower of your soul. You may interpret that in any way you desire.
Right? Like, is it an actual flower or is it just. Hmm. She will. She will take that to mean as to basically bare her soul into what she thinks is probably most what her like what she believes like her higher purpose is. Um, you know, what she believes is the basis of her own soul. Um, which for her is to respect and preserve all life, not just um, but especially natural life.
How do you do this?
Um, she's so she basically just digs deep and she sort of like projects an image out to illustrate that she believes nature and the natural world is most important. She also values human life, but isn't afraid to do what is necessary to make sure that humans don't further desecrate the natural world.
It will flash forward the image that you wish to convey, and it will be shaped by the soil around you, by the emotion, raw and true, that you pour into it. Describe the flower that will grow.
Hmm. Do-do-do. Um, so the flower that grows is a daffodil. Daffodils symbolize rebirth.
What color is the daffodil?
Mm, let's see. Figure that out. It's yellow.
The daffodil, the color of the sun, sprouts from the dirt for you, grand and magnificent. It seems to emulate the glow of the light of the sun itself, banishing all darkness and all shadow that might exist within the clearing. The being looks down at it, and its eyes open a fraction, and you see the baleful yet wondrous green light of creation itself made manifest. Wherever the green light of the eyes falls, flowers bloom in their dozens, their hundreds. So all around you, you are now surrounded by a sea of flowers, every color and every shade, opalescent crimsons, and indeed vermilion reds, all interplayed in a tragic interplay of comedy and wonder. For this is the glory and majesty of spring, the might and the harmony of summer. It will say in a resonating voice, we accept this offering to the garden that is your soul. You wish understanding, but you already understand. You have always understood in truth. I cannot give you what it is you already possess. It is merely a matter of reaching out and taking what it is you wish.
She's thinking, of course, megalomania kicking in here. Of course, I already know everything, right? But she is still despite the megalomania, is still trying to be humble, and she didn't want to assume that, yes, she already knew. She'll nod. Say, all right. So I just have to dig deep and practice harder.
It will contemplate and it will say, no, not necessarily true. You need to resonate. You need to belong. Each flower here is a dream. Each reality but a whisper. It will contemplate again. Command, and the garden will grow. It is simple. You must be the spring and the summer, but then again, you must also be the autumn and the winter. As I have said, the same tragic interplay of tragedy and comedy. It is within you. Perhaps you have moved from the spring to the summer. Would you agree?
She thinks about that for a moment and yes. Would be appropriate.
It will look down at you and the eyes will open all the way, and as it does so, the trees grow to impossible heights. Everything around you looms large, looms with the majesty of life, and it will say, then be as the sun.
She smiles. I will. Thank you.
You will feel yourself floating in the air, completely naked, as miniature versions of the sun and moon play around you, almost as if they are whipping around you in the seasonal tracks. You feel as if you are centuries old and yet are only as old as the first moment of the earth. as if you have taken your first breath and as if you have taken beyond thousands. Until, with a start and a shudder, you find yourself laying back in the clearing as everything has returned to normal. Archimedes is kind of looking down at you from where he was perched.
Her eyes flutter open. She smiles. She looks up at Archimedes. How long was I out?
I should think about an hour or so.
Well, that's not too bad, I suppose.
You will notice as you stand up, though, rather out of place in the clearing, there is a single daffodil.
Smiles widely. She goes over to the daffodil. And she doesn't pluck it out of the ground, but she'll kneel next to it, kind of touch its petals.
It is touchably soft.
She'll go back and collect Archimedes.
Archimedes will flutter down from his tree and will land once again on your shoulder. I would desire pancakes.
Pancakes it is. Go to our favorite diner.
Excellent.
They will go get pancakes.
Pancakes make it all better. And with that, we shall end the scene. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watcher, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness Dublin.